In the dark world of power-driven illusions, narcissists roam, believing themselves to be the masters of fate, immune to the consequences of their own actions. They immerse themselves in manipulation, weaving sweet lies as deadly as poisoned honey, leaving destruction in their wake without a shred of remorse. They build empires upon deception, convinced of their invincibility, standing above rules and laws. But they are mistaken. They have forgotten one crucial truth: no one can escape true justice, especially when it comes from God. They fail to realize that God's justice is like an invisible web, silently cast, missing no wicked deed. When the power they thought they held begins to fade, when the lies they meticulously crafted crumble like sandcastles before the tide, they will be forced to face a brutal reality they never dared to acknowledge. God's justice is never out of reach, and it is always, always carried out. No one, no matter how powerful or wealthy, can evade the hand of divine justice. Have you ever wondered what happens when narcissists, those who seem untouchable, finally face the consequences of their actions? When their perfect facade is ripped apart, when their lies are exposed, when the people they once manipulated rise against them? What will happen then? In this video, we will uncover 5 powerful acts of justice like tsunamis, sweeping away the carefully constructed illusions of narcissists. We will witness their world shake to its very core, forcing them to confront the devastating, inescapable consequences of their malicious deeds. From the collapse of their reputation to the bitter sting of isolation, from losing what they value most to painful lessons in self-worth and belated regret, everything will be revealed in this video. Will they recognize their mistakes? Can they change and seek redemption? Or will they sink deeper into the darkness of selfishness and cruelty? The answer will keep you glued to the screen until the very last moment. Join us as we embark on this dramatic journey of reckoning and witness the miraculous and inevitable execution of God's justice. The first act, the collapse of an empire of lies. Narcissists always live in an illusion of their own making. It is a kingdom where they reign supreme, where truth is twisted to serve their insatiable ego. They believe they are invincible, that every mistake belongs to someone else, and that they can manipulate reality at will. But like all empires built on deception, their kingdom cannot last forever. Over time, cracks begin to form. Those they once manipulated slowly awaken, realizing that these narcissists are not the superior beings they claim to be. When the light of truth shines on what they have hidden, their perfect mask falls, revealing a deeply flawed, weak and pitiful individual beneath. With no one left to manipulate, no one left to believe in their fabricated stories, they begin to spiral into panic. A narcissist cannot survive without admiration or attention. As their kingdom crumbles, they feel empty, lost, and confronted with their greatest crisis, the loss of control. When justice comes knocking, they can no longer shift blame or escape accountability. The mistakes they made, the people they hurt, all come back like a storm, sweeping away their arrogance. The price they pay is not just the loss of reputation or relationships, but the painful realization that they were never as great as they believed themselves to be. But this collapse carries a deeper meaning. It is proof of an unchanging universal law. No one can live in deceit forever without facing the consequences. A life built on manipulation and lies will ultimately crumble under the weight of truth. And when that moment arrives, the narcissist is left with nothing but a bitter truth. They were never truly in control of anything but their own illusions. The downfall of a narcissist is not just an ending, but a lesson for all of us. No power can last if it is built on a foundation of lies. The second act, shattering arrogant delusions. Narcissists live in a fantasy of their own creation. A world where they are the center of everything, where all must admire, praise, and submit to them. They build their self-worth on tangible things, money, power, status, or their influence over others. But beneath it all, Their grandiose image is nothing more than a fragile mask, carefully placed to conceal their fear, insecurity, and emptiness. When this arrogant delusion is shattered, they are forced to confront their greatest fear, their own insignificance. A narcissist cannot bear the thought of being ordinary. They convince themselves that they are superior, that no one can match their brilliance. That's why they constantly seek external validation, using every opportunity to prove their worth and impose control over others. But what they never anticipate is that their downfall can arrive at any moment in ways they cannot control. Justice, though slow, never overlooks. When a narcissist is stripped of the very things they relied on to sustain their inflated self-worth, wealth, social status, or the people who once bowed to them, they come to realize that it was all an illusion. When the mask shatters, there is nothing left to hide behind. Those they once manipulated are no longer under their influence, and this delivers a crushing blow to their arrogant ego. The worst thing for a narcissist is not losing material wealth, but losing the carefully crafted image they built. When the truth is exposed, when their lies unravel, they are forced to face who they truly are: small, ordinary, and powerless to manipulate anyone, and as they desperately try to regain control, those who were once their victims will turn away, filled with scorn and disgust. With no one left to manipulate, no one left to reflect back their false greatness, they are left utterly alone. Public humiliation is a narcissist's worst nightmare because it proves that no matter how much they try to fabricate a perfect image, they can never escape reality. Justice is never in a hurry, but it is inevitable, and when it arrives, no one can escape the truth. The third act, destroying the web of lies. In the dark world narcissists create for themselves, manipulation is their ultimate weapon, the foundation upon which their empire of deceit is built. They distort reality with precision, lie without hesitation, and use people as pawns in their cruel game. With their honeyed words, they make others believe in falsehoods, gaining control and bending them to their selfish will. They weave an intricate web of deception, trapping those around them in a toxic cycle of manipulation. At first glance, this web appears strong and impenetrable, but in truth, it is fragile and riddled with cracks, like a sandcastle built on sinking ground. God's justice, like a mighty wind, will not allow this web of lies to stand forever. It will sweep away the fog that conceals the truth, dismantling the web piece by piece, exposing the narcissist's bare and unfiltered reality. Truth, like the morning light, will dispel the darkness, and justice will prevail. The first and most inevitable consequence is that the lies narcissists have painstakingly crafted will begin to unravel. Those who once blindly trusted them will start noticing inconsistencies in their stories. Their words will no longer align with their actions. The grand promises, the carefully fabricated narratives will slowly be revealed as disjointed fragments that don't fit together. Doubt will begin to take root, like a small ember that can ignite a wildfire, consuming all the deception in its path. Once suspicion sets in, it becomes nearly impossible for the narcissist to maintain the control they once held. Their web of deceit starts to tremble, and the people they once manipulated begin to recognize their true position. As the truth emerges, the narcissist's power weakens, like a tiger losing its claws. Those who once idolized them will finally see the person behind the flawless mask. Friends, family, and colleagues, those who blindly supported them, will begin to walk away, like ships abandoning a sinking harbor. Trust, the very thing the narcissist meticulously built with deception and pretense, will shatter like fragile glass. Their manipulation will cease to work because people will finally see them for who they truly are. No longer will anyone fall for their cunning tricks, their sweet lies, or their empty promises. Their ability to control others will fade, like an illusion vanishing in the dawn. The web of deception they so carefully spun will collapse entirely, burying them beneath the rubble of their own falsehoods. In some cases, those who were once victims, the ones who suffered the deepest wounds at the narcissist's hands, will rise and tell their stories. They will expose the truth about the narcissist's cruelty, their vicious lies, and their calculated betrayals. The dark secrets they buried, the sins they tried to hide, will be laid bare for all to see. Those who were once controlled, once manipulated, will refuse to be used any longer. They will reclaim their voices and use them to unmask the narcissist, restoring justice to those who have been wronged. God's justice, like a sharp sword, will force the narcissist to face the consequences of their actions. No longer will they be able to run or deny the damage they have inflicted on others. The lies they relied on to conceal their wrongdoing will be exposed, like an indelible stain that cannot be erased. Their own manipulation will lead to their downfall, like a double-edged blade turning against its wielder. The web they created to ensnare others will ultimately entrap them, much like a perfectly designed mousetrap that ends up killing the very mouse it was meant to serve. Losing their grip on control will be one of the most agonizing experiences a narcissist can face. The power they once wielded over others will slip through their fingers like quicksand refusing to be grasped. The intricate web of lies they built will become their own inescapable prison, like a spider caught in its own web, struggling but unable to break free. The fourth act. Unmasking the deception. A narcissist always wears a perfect mask to manipulate and control others. They may appear as a kind-hearted person, an ideal partner, or a symbol of success, but beneath the surface lies their true nature, selfish, ruthless, and hollow. No matter how skillful they are, no deception lasts forever. One day their mask will fall, and when it does, they will have nowhere to hide. Sometimes it is their own arrogance that exposes them. Overconfident in their ability to manipulate, they believe they can control everything. But all it takes is one exposed lie, one action that contradicts the image they have carefully crafted, or one minor inconsistency in their story for the cracks in their facade to widen. As these contradictions accumulate, those around them begin to see the truth, and the image they worked so hard to maintain starts to collapse from within. Not only that, but when victims begin to speak out, their stories trigger a domino effect, bringing long-buried secrets to light. One person daring to reveal the truth encourages others to step forward, and as victims unite, they paint a full picture of the narcissist's true self, something the narcissist never wanted to face. At this point, even those who trusted them most begin to turn away. Friends, family, and colleagues all realize they were mere pawns in the narcissist's game. As their circle of enablers disintegrates, they find themselves isolated, stripped of the power that once allowed them to manipulate and control. God's justice does not come immediately, but it is precise and inevitable. When the truth is exposed, the narcissist has no place left to run. No lie can remain hidden forever. No mask can withstand the light of truth. And no narcissist can escape the price they must pay for the harm they have caused. When justice arrives, it does not need to be swift. It unfolds in ways the narcissist never expects, using the very things they created, the very lies they once wielded to control others. And when that moment comes, they will realize, perhaps for the first time, that they have lost control over everything. The fifth act. Retribution for their cruelty. In the distorted worldview of narcissists, cruelty, selfishness, and the harm they inflict on others seem like an inevitable part of their existence. They believe themselves to be above all rules, both human law and the universal law of karma. They assume they can escape all consequences, living comfortably in the self-created world where only their own interests matter. But they are wrong. They have forgotten one undeniable truth. God's justice is absolute, impartial, and spares no one. Divine retribution, like an unbroken cycle, ensures that the harm they inflict will return to them, sooner or later, inevitably. Blinded by arrogance, narcissists may think they are master manipulators, controlling and exploiting others like puppets, but they fail to realize that their very actions become the chains that bind them, leading them down a path of unavoidable reckoning. They build traps for others, only to fall into them themselves. If they use people for their own benefit, they will eventually face loneliness and abandonment when those they once exploited turn away. Having finally seen their true nature, this isolation will consume them, forcing them to confront the emptiness and meaninglessness of a life centered solely on the self. If they have caused emotional or physical harm to others, they will inevitably suffer similar pain. Like a mirror reflecting their actions back at them, the scars they inflicted on others will become the wounds that mark their own souls. They will be forced to experience the very emotions they once callously ignored. Anger, resentment, sorrow, and despair. They will endure the same suffering they inflicted on their victims, and though it will be agonizing, it will also serve as a chance for self-reflection. These experiences, however painful and difficult, serve as undeniable reminders that their actions have consequences. No one can escape divine justice, no matter how well they attempt to deceive and disguise themselves. God's justice is unshakable, and retribution is inevitable. When this reckoning comes, the narcissist will gradually come to understand that their control, manipulation, and destruction of others all have a price. They will no longer be able to hide from the truth or deny the impact of their actions. The truth will be laid bare, forcing them to confront their own cruelty. They will pay for what they have done, and the price will be steep, but fair. God's justice ensures that they must face the consequences of their actions, no matter how desperately they try to evade them. The cycle of retribution will come full circle, and they will reap exactly what they have sown. This is not just punishment, it is also an opportunity to awaken, to repent, and to change. The answer remains uncertain, but one thing is undeniable. God's justice is eternal, and retribution is unavoidable. God's justice operates in His own way, slow but certain, silent yet inescapable. Narcissists, no matter how cunningly they deceive the world, cannot deceive divine justice. When the truth is revealed, when consequences fall upon them, they will be forced to face the reality of what they have done. But most importantly, God's justice is not only about holding the wicked accountable, it is also a guiding light for those who have suffered under manipulation and deceit. If you have ever been broken by a narcissist, remember, you are not alone. Hold on to your faith, continue to live with integrity, and trust that justice will be served at the right time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Let's spread the truth together and build a strong community where truth and justice always prevail. See you in the next video.